Hi, Chaman. Let's take a look at this new set of essays that you have sent us. Okay, it's your first set of essays. The topic is schools. Should they merely educate or should they be more entertaining? Here's what you said. There is no denying the fact that in present era of advancement, school plays a vital role in educating children. While many argues that entertainment is quite essential in development of students and holistic growth, I believe that extracurricular activities play a crucial role in mental and physical growth of children. Let's delve deeper, and viewpoints regarding both the argument will be discussed in further paragraphs with examples. Okay, so what I see in this essay, in this introductory paragraph, is on the whole accuracy in terms of the structure. However, there's a lot of inaccuracy in terms of your grammar and a little bit the register. So I want to be a little more formal, and I'll explain where. Let's start it again, correcting the grammar. So there is no denying the fact that in the present era, school plays a vital role in educating children. While many argue that entertainment is quite essential in the development of students and holistic growth, I believe that extracurricular activities play a crucial role in the mental and physical growth of children. This essay will examine both viewpoints and will support my position with examples and arguments. Okay? That's how you need to do it. I took out this let's delve because it just feels far too conversational, far too informal, and certainly not appropriate for an academic essay. So let's move on. First and foremost, by participating in non-education activities like sports, drama, singing, and art, no. Get rid of this by, because by requires you to follow a certain grammatical structure afterwards. So instead, let's make it, first and foremost, participating in non-education activities like sports, drama, singing, and art enhances cognitive ability of children. This is due to the fact that such activities reduce stage fright, that's the word, in children. We never write kids in an IELTS essay because it's just informal. So reduces stage fright in children and makes them more expressive. Makes S. Okay. They will be more collaborative with their peers and start learning teamwork. For instance, a recent survey conducted by Harvard University, capital U, in various schools states, I don't know what that means, I think you mean S apostrophe. In various schools, get rid of the apostrophe altogether, states that pupils who often participate in non-educational activities excel more, get rid of that R, in their social and academic life compared, D, to others, S, who are inactive in such activities, okay? Who are not involved in such activities, really, that's the word you want, not inactive in activities. Therefore, schools should, with an H, conduct physical activities in a timely manner to enhance intellectual ability in students. Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute. On the other hand, emphasizing, get rid of by, more on academic subjects leads students to burden. I don't really care for that word here. It feels not appropriate. And makes them bookworms. Let's change this whole sentence. Emphasizing academic subjects only creates a burden in students and makes them bookworms. This is largely because parents and teachers keep putting pressure on children to score high, get rid of percentage, high on exams, or in exams is okay, which will eventually isolate them from society and make them which will eventually isolate them from society and cause an adverse impact on their physical health. For example, an article published by the BBC shows that more than 80% of students suffered depression, get rid of the with, and physiological disorders during their final exams. Consequently, students should spend some time for recreation daily to keep them fit and healthy. In a nutshell, I don't really care for this expression. Again, informal, just, classic. In conclusion is fine. Or to conclude, also fine. Extracurricular activities provide physical and mental strength to children and give them a chance to explore their interests and careers. C-A-R-E-E-R. In my opinion, comma, academic and non-academic elements here is a word that's missing. Both should have their own weight in the school curriculum. Get rid of age. All right, Chaman. So here's the first thing. You could see that I had to correct a ton of grammar, a ton. Did it lead to incoherence? No. Did it make things a little difficult for me? Yeah, it did. I mean, I had to correct a lot, and it was pretty consistent. So throughout the essay, you'll see that you could probably see that I corrected quite a bit. So that's the first thing. That's your grammar. The vocabulary, as far as I could tell, was fine. I don't really have any major issues with it. You didn't use anything particularly higher level or less common, but it was appropriate. It did its job. The coherence and cohesion was kind of well controlled. I mean, you did an okay job with it, so nothing too serious there. But I do have some concern about your task achievement. Let me tell you what I mean. This talks about schools needing to be more entertaining. And you basically structured your essays around just extracurricular activities. So think about what extracurricular means. It means outside of the curriculum. So something outside of school hours, something extra, something that really isn't an official part of the school day. But this is talking about schools themselves. So I don't really know how appropriate all of this discussion regarding extracurricular activities is. What I would have liked instead is something about how schools within the actual school day can be more entertaining, and if there is any value to that. So how could school itself be more entertaining? How could classes provide more amusement? How could the school day be more fun for students? The school day, not outside of school, extracurricular. Okay? Do you see the difference? I hope that makes sense. So this is something that I would like you to think about when looking at this topic again. Okay, and you can see that they're talking about schools and the actual curriculum, because on the one hand you have purely educational, like strict academic knowledge, this focus on academics. Now on the other hand you have this idea of being more entertaining. Now it doesn't try to say that they should only be haha, funny, entertaining, but that there should be some additional element of entertainment. How would that be valuable? How would that be useful? You might want to say even how you think it could be done, but do you think that it's important? Okay, so that's what I wanted you to focus on, and less this idea of just extracurricular. And this, I don't know how relevant it was, especially in this paragraph. Maybe you could have talked about the negatives of purely academic education in the first paragraph, but I definitely didn't feel like it belonged here, okay? So let's take a look now at your second essay. It's the enjoyable activity with a child. So let's see what you said here. The way children spend, with a D, their free time varies greatly from one to another. Many people believe that pupils should be involved in tasks which are related to education in their free time. However, I believe that utilizing spare interval performing physical activities, I don't know what that means, and developing hobbies will help recuperate their health and concentration. First of all, reading does not necessarily mean education. A lot of people just read for leisure. Okay, so I don't feel that this is necessarily appropriate here. I really didn't understand what this meant here. Utilizing spare, did you mean utilizing their spare time? I'm really not sure. So it's unclear. Like right away in the first paragraph we have some incoherence here. It's just not clear. But let's move on and see what you said in the rest of your body paragraphs. First and foremost, children, no apostrophe, no S, are required to perform physical movements, not body movements, are required to perform physical and I wouldn't even say movements, I would have said activity. So let's try it again. Children are required to perform physical activity to improve their physical abilities. Okay, well, we don't want physical, but instead of body movements, why don't you just say exercise? Let's try it again like that. First and foremost, children are required to exercise to improve their physical abilities. For example, a survey conducted by a UK newspaper illustrates that all schools provide 1 hour every day, so you have to change the word order, to children for recreational activities related to sports. As a result, they are forced to get involved in the activities which require motion, resulting in maintaining their fitness level. Thus, it is apparent that doing such exercises will contribute towards the physical development of a child. Let's move on. We'll talk about this later. On the other side, on the other hand. But we don't say on the other hand unless we've said on the one hand. So you could have said however here. That would have been more than appropriate. However, focus towards studies or reading can result in problems related to concentration. Know the. For instance, if a student is asked to read books in his extra time, know also, there are high chances that they might start feeling frustrated with studies. Furthermore, if they utilize this span for watching television, learning their hobbies like singing or dancing makes them more relaxed. Children will be more attentive and might find their future career paths. Therefore, it is obvious that such breaks will help them to enhance the attention level. In conclusion, being engaged in activities other than education not only helps to improve the health, but also, get rid of the, and get rid of the. Thus, this clearly debunks the ideas that pupils should only perform tasks which aim towards the acquisition of knowledge in order to avoid wasting time. All right, so, again, I feel there is some misunderstanding of this task. They are not talking about education. All right, when I read this prompt, I understand it to be leisure time, okay, because it's an enjoyable activity with a child. So nowhere does it say anything at all about school, okay? It's just, having fun with a child in a fun activity. And so again, nothing about school, really, okay? Now, you were supposed to discuss two things, that these activities develop better skills and creativity. Let's talk about what you said. You said physical abilities. So basically this first paragraph just dealt with physical abilities. Then, here you talked about, I don't know what you talked about. It was something about concentration. But I didn't really understand this paragraph at all. And then you said that focusing on hobbies and singing will make them more relaxed, and this will make them more attentive. So this whole thing really, really confused me, really. But you can see that nowhere did you talk about creativity, and that was one of the key points you were supposed to talk about, not just better skills. So there were several different ways you could have developed this. And the first way you could have developed it was talking about what fun activities with a child can develop skills, and those skills could be numerous, okay? And then you could spend another paragraph talking about what skills could develop creativity. Also, many skills could develop creativity, okay? So rather than reading a book, you could write a book with a child. You could ask them to make poetry. You could ask them to photograph things. You could ask them to draw something, make something with clay. I mean, there's so many different things here. And you could talk about how all of these activities help develop creativity, okay? So not really developed in close response to the topic, okay? But that's okay, it's your first essay, so this sort of thing is expected. It's pretty typical, so I don't want you to get discouraged. What you need to do now is correct these essays based on my suggestions and send those back to us. You also have to create an error correction list where you write down all the errors that were mentioned to you, and next to each error, what the correct version would be. Send that back to us as well, and keep adding to that list with each error correction you get back. The third thing you'll have to do, of course, is write a new set of essays. Try to do all this in the next 24 hours or so. I'll be here. I'll be waiting to see what you write, so get that started, and we'll meet back here with new essays. Good luck.